Good morning and welcome to the 8:15 daily operations weather brief. Today we have yet another dreary start to our day with some low-level clouds still overspreading much of our region and unfortunately once again expected to persist throughout much of the day today. We will see some more significant improvements come tomorrow morning in the early hours and maybe even some lifting during the day today once that heating gets underway. As for winds today, winds are currently out of a more easterly direction and anticipated to shift to a more southeasterly direction, with gusts remaining well below any advisory criteria. And temperatures today look to be getting back on track for a more seasonable high of 77, 78 degrees come this afternoon. Moving on to our most recent surface analysis chart here, we do still have that nearly stationary frontal boundary along the Virginia-North Carolina border, and that continues to bring some warm and moist conditions to our area, with showers and thunderstorms developing further south and west of our location in areas where instability is a bit higher. And this boundary is serving to maintain these low-level clouds that are lingering overhead and have done so for the past day or two. And like I said earlier, some thinning may occur as daytime heating gets underway. A bit further west, conditions do appear marginally favorable, as noted by the SPC, for some late afternoon and early evening thunderstorm development. And if these storms do hold together, given the conditions that are in place and make it across the bay, we may see an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon hours. And by early Wednesday morning, a warm front is expected to push through our area, increasing those rain chances with its passage and ushering in some warmer temperatures in its wake behind its passage. Moving to our current weather conditions for today, we are looking at overcast conditions at 400 feet with 7 statute miles of visibility. Winds are mostly out of the east at about 5 knots, with a current temperature of 68 degrees and a relative humidity value of 93%. Taking a look at this morning's satellite imagery, that stationary front is quite evident down south, making almost no progress in moving out of our region and continuing to drop a lot of rain in those areas down south. And we can also see that a smaller complex of storms is moving across the southern tip of the shore here and making its way through the Cape Charles area at this time. But other than that, the low-level cloud cover is also quite prominent, and that overspreads much of the eastern U.S. north of that boundary that sits just along the Virginia-North Carolina border. Pulling up the most recent NAM run here, we can see that those early morning showers have now mostly started to dissipate, with a couple lingering, and it's picking up here on some, making it across down south on the shore. However, most of the day is modeled to remain rather dry, with maybe a couple showers making their way through before we see this late night push that's associated with the warm front. So we might see a flash of lightning or some showers start to develop as that makes its way through. Moving on to the 24-hour risk chart here. Cloudy conditions with those low-level clouds and potential for lower visibility values to make an appearance here and continue doing so. So a red to start us off, followed by a yellow where we might see some lifting, and orange to progress through the rest of the day. And we have some orange for precip and lightning come the very early hours of Wednesday, associated with that warm front making its way through, and an ultimate clearing or a trend towards clearing at the end of our forecast period, moving towards 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Moving to the short-term weather risk chart here, Wednesday, we're expecting partly cloudy conditions with a chance of morning showers and thunderstorms, and winds were starting to gust near the advisory criteria, so making note of that there, as well as the anticipated chance for some low-level cloud cover. Wednesday night looks to remain mostly dry, partly cloudy, and a low of 80 before moving to Thursday, where partly to mostly cloudy conditions are anticipated and the chance of an evening shower or thunderstorm becomes more prominent, and a high of 91. And once again, those winds the models were starting to pick up on some winds getting towards advisory criteria, so just throwing some color in for awareness on that. And that is going to conclude our 8:15 weather brief. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with the 7-day outlook.